Hi, I'm on site at the site of where St Anne's Park railway station used to stand here in Bristol, and I've been very public with my comments saying, you know, the platforms can be redone here, but there's an issue with car parking, as I'm about to show you. There are some major issues already, because a lot of this I think is protected woodland here in Brislington, so I'm not entirely sure if local residents and the National Trust are willing to have that paved over. Here comes a high-speed train. Well, it's going at a high speed, just not the high speed. If you look here, looking from the entrance to Nightahale Valley or Nightahale Wood, I'm not 100% clear on the terms. You would have to cut so much back in regards to foliage, woodland, and then there's also the issue of where you come down at St Anne's Terrace, which I shall get some visuals in a moment. I don't know if it's doable. The platforms are able to be doable because platforms are not that big anyhow. In terms of the width, depending on which station you're at. But there's the issue, because obviously you've got a stream running by, and it's a potential environmental issue. I'm sure there'll be something that Network Rail and local authorities can look into to see if there's a go-between. But as it stands at the moment, I think parking is going to be a major issue. I'm just going to head back up to the bridge and get some more exterior shots, which I shall also provide with still photos, just to give you an impression of the task that is ahead of us. I'm just giving before I head back up to the bridge, I'm just giving you some extra shots just to give you perspective of, like I say, I mentioned in the clip already, of what we're up against in regards to parking. In all honesty, there's ample space here for maybe 30 or 40 car parking spaces, but given where this spot is, it's more than likely to be a naturally protected site in Bristol, as in regards to anything in regards to National Trust. So this will be a complex issue as to whether parking can be done here. Like I say, I'm just going to head back up to the bridge in a second just to give you some ideas. Okay, we're back up on the bridge on New Bridge Road. I can't do anything about the noise of traffic in the background, so I shall have to work as best possible with this. I can see there being enough ample space on either side of the track to relay the platforms, but it's difficult to say without being able to get close enough due to health and safety regulations with the entrance in that undergrowth there being guarded off. I've mentioned recently that from a Google Earth shot of where a lot of that space is, is it possible to put a car park there? But given we don't know how even or how level that the ground is underneath all that, it's difficult to say. It's not something that should be ruled out, but in terms of being realistic, I don't think it's very plausible. As, like I say, with the situation with Nightahale Valley over there, space is most definitely a pressing concern. Platform-wise, I don't see this being a problem, but with every railway station there has to be accessible parking. And there's an issue with parking. There's an issue with parking on either side. And there comes in a high-speed train for the afternoon. There's the possibility of putting specific place parking spaces along St. Anne's Road, but I don't know how well people are going to take to that, because then that just doesn't solve the problem. That's basically putting a band-aid on a giant cut, for lack of a better description. So it's hard to say, although I overheard one couple suggesting, what if they actually put the railway station over near where the old sidings are, and I'm about to go over there just to give some thoughts on that. Back in a moment. Right, I'm having to dub over the footage here because the wind resistance was just so bad when I came over Langton Court Road that my voice was so unhearable. So we're overlooking the old service yard to the left that used to have at least 3 to 4 more siding lines, and I overheard a couple as I was coming back onto the bridge that, what if they actually put the railway station, that's in the direction where St. Anne's Park used to stand, but what if they actually put it here where it's a little bit more accessible? I mean, especially if you put it just where the white divider is. What if you actually put the platforms there with a bridge interconnecting over to that side? Then you'll be able to have a connecting point to the car park over there just behind the retail unit buildings. I do think that would be a little bit more accessible, for a lack of a better description, because the problem that I mentioned whilst I was looking over at the site, going down St. Anne Park's Terrace and St. Anne Park's Road, I'm not sure residents would be happy with the idea of car parks on either side, considering there's not a lot of space to deal with anyway. Because I think Culverwood is actually a protected natural area, and the same thing could be said with St. Anne's Wood, with streams that actually run alongside either of the woods. So that's an environmental issue. I don't know whether that will actually be looked into. I'm just pointing out, where the bridge, where the railway station could be. Again, like I say, I'm having to dub over this because if I'd have just been smart and just waited another 5 minutes just for the wind to die down, then you would have been able to hear what I was saying. But because of circumstances being what they are, I'm having to do it this way. Like I say, the car park situation on where the railway station used to be, it would be difficult. And unfortunately, with railway stations these days, parking is a necessity, because it's just one of those things. It just is. I mean, could you imagine Temple Meads without car parking? Could you imagine Bath Spa without car parking? Bristol Parkway without parking? Or even Swindon Railway Station without parking? It just wouldn't be done. But I'm hoping there will be some kind of go-between, because Brislington deserves to have a rail link into the city and not rely on the number 37 service, which, as I've said in previous statements and videos, is touted as the worst service in the city. And, considering how bad traffic is getting in Brislington, this is a no-brainer. This has to be done. Until next time, folks, signing off from Langton Court Road near St. Anne's Park in Brislington, Bristol.